Today we are going to be talking about VPAID, more commonly known as in-stream video. My name is Jeff Lopez, and I'm a Creative Solutions Engineer with Sizmek out of the LA office. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to talk about what is VPAID. VPAID is also an acronym. VPAID stands for Video Player Ad Interface Definition, and VPAID is also an ad format. It's a type of in-stream ad that's served within a video stream and also contains multiple creative elements that can be interactive. This is also an IAB specification. It describes an API which the ad and the player use to communicate with each other. This includes events that the player can use to track, along with functionality that allows interactive creative elements to work alongside the video or overlaid on top of it. More importantly, VAST and VPAID, in addition to ad formats and acronyms, they're really anything you want them to be. These are creative avenues that help you to engage your audience, to drive brand awareness, and to inspire. So as we talked about earlier, VPAID is an acronym. It stands for Video Player Interface Definition. You might be likely to hear of this referred to as interactive video. So VPAID is kind of a slightly newer spin on the VAST ad. It adds an additional element to this, and essentially what VPAID is, it's a video ad, but it has a wrapper around it. When VPAID started, this was a flash wrapper. In other words, there's a SWF overlaid on top of your video file. The SWF being overlaid on top of it allows you to add different interactive elements on top of the video. It might be as simple as a bug or a graphic, but you might have other buttons and calls to action floating on top of your video. Maybe you have link outs to Twitter or Facebook and social sites. Maybe you have a call to action which is click here to buy now, or hey, come here and visit our website to see the full video. This graphic here is a little bit simple, but it's trying to illustrate that the video is playing in the background and you have an additional interactive element wrapped around or laid on top of the video. Nowadays, since Flash is kind of going away, we also support HTML5 VPAID ads. From what I understand, it should be known that these recent Chrome blocking or pausing of Flash content is not expected to apply to video ads. So in other words, traditional VPAID ads with the Flash wrapper are expected to still work. Now, because support in general for Flash is diminishing across the board, I would personally recommend that it's a good time to move to the HTML5 VPAID version as opposed to Flash. It's probably just a safer best practice with things moving forward. So we're going to back out of this presentation one more time, and we're going to take a look at how to build a VPAID ad together. Now, HTML5 VPAID might sound a little bit daunting, but I'm going to show you where to get the template files from. I'm going to show you how to edit them and how quick and easy it can be, even for somebody who's not necessarily very code savvy. So for starters, instead of building this whole thing completely from scratch, we're going to take advantage of Sizmek's templates. And to get that, I'm going to go to the showcase. Sizmek Showcase is showing you all of the latest, greatest ads that your colleagues and other clients of ours have built using our tools. It also has a feature for ad formats, and as this page refreshes, what we're going to see here are available templates in both Flash and HTML5. The templates are not required, but they're very helpful, and I encourage everyone to please take a look at this space, find out what's here, and take advantage of these already working assets. They're very easy to download and customize, and every single one of them comes with a pretty easy to understand PDF or build guide. So in the search bar, I'm going to type VPAID. Let's choose HTML VPAID template and see if it shows up. It does. Ta-da! So we'll take a closer look at this. This is HTML5 VPAID template. The template is designed for building ads that are served with Sizmek HTML5 VPAID ads. Maybe that's a little redundant, but it contains all the necessary assets for the developer to produce interactive HTML5 VPAID compatible ads. Now we can take a look at a demo, and we'll go ahead and watch this demo together real quick. And this is what it looks like. Now, this is very similar to what you've already seen. It's essentially a VAST or video ad happening underneath. But look at what's on top. I've got a transparent logo floating over it, and I also have customizable buttons on top of it. Now, in this case, the buttons are skip ad, click through, custom interaction, play, unmute, but these don't have to be video controls. I'm hoping some light bulbs are going off out there. You can customize these buttons, you can delete these buttons, you can make them whatever you want them to be. It could be a call to action, a buy now, a link to your website. There could be a brand logo, or there could even be animation happening on top of the video. Maybe text that syncs with it, for example, is something I've seen people use it for. Within the preview, it shows you what is the linear pre-roll. Again, that's the video. It also lets you see what is the format, what is the dimensions. It gives you all the data of the ad, which may or may not be as important to some of you. Developers out there might have fun taking a look at this and seeing what code actually makes this happen on the back end. But for designers and entry-level users, you don't really need to worry about it. The reporting also shows us what tracked in this. So we know that there was one impression, there was one start. It shows that I muted it twice and unmuted it. I paused it twice and resumed it once. So this gives you a good idea of all the tracking and data or metrics that you can glean from the VPAID format. This is very valuable to maybe to yourselves, but also specifically to media agencies and also to the advertisers or your clients themselves. If they're paying good money to serve these video ads across the country, it's worthwhile to understand how many people are seeing the ads, how much time are they spending with the ads, and are they clicking on these or engaging with the ad or not. That information can help you build more effective ads down the road. So let's back out of this demo. Actually, instead of backing out of it, we'll take a quick look at the build guide. So this is what is included with every one of our templates. It's actually downloaded to my local drive, so I'll open that for you in just a moment. And the last thing you would want to do is choose download. Once you hit download, the full package comes down to your local drive, and we're going to see what this looks like. I apologize in advance if this appears a little bit daunting to anybody, but I assure you it's pretty easy to navigate once you spend a little bit of time with it, and I'm going to try to help demystify it for you. First of all, this is the file that comes down. It's the VPAID ad template, and I haven't altered this in any way yet. So the first two folders you see are documentation and source. Within documentation is the PDF, and this is a build guide. You can print it out if you like to have a piece of paper in front of you or you're running out of monitor space, or you can just view it on your screen. The build guides are pretty nice. They have a table of contents. They're going to walk you through all the ins and outs of the ads, how to customize it, how to upload it, etc. Step by step, this makes it pretty easy for anybody, even less savvy developers and designers, to work with HTML5 VPAID. Now, the meat and potatoes of this ad are inside source. Now, just like any other HTML5 ad, and even like some websites, in the root folder is an index HTML file, and we'll take a look at what this looks like. The code is already here for you, but some basic things to understand. We're running JavaScript and we're running a style sheet. There's an ad container, and so this is essentially the wrapper or the interactive part that overlays on top. There's a logo, and there are some buttons here. It's very easy to start commenting out these buttons, for example, or changing the logo. So we're going to back out of the index file, and we're going to take a look at JavaScript. So inside the JS folder is the script. We're going to edit this, in my case, with Notepad++. You can even open these in simple text, but any HTML or JavaScript editor of your choosing should do. Now, this looks like a lot of code, and normally I wouldn't want to share this with anybody because it can seem intimidating. But almost everything you're seeing here are step-by-step explanations of what this is and how it works. So instead of just kind of an eye-bleeding file of code, there's actually some very helpful information. It talks to you about the different display modes, how to control which assets are there, how to configure it, how to edit it. So everything we're seeing here so far is basically explanations and direction on how to work with this file. It warns you, hey, don't edit this, and hey, this can be edited. Here's where you would want to make your own changes. So as I scroll through, we start to see some of the actual code. There's a variable for the primary video, which is video asset 1. There's a URL for the video. In this case, it's in my videos folder, which is sitting right here. So I could easily start making changes to this by changing this from preview.mp4 to myvideo.webm, for example. There's variables for the various buttons, close buttons and skip buttons. In most cases, you don't need to worry about a close button because usually publishers will overlay that on their own video player, but you can add them if you'd like. And as we scroll through, we'll see some of the functionality of this. This is where we're initializing the creative and the video events. And here's all the details on the various buttons. We can track these as custom interactions. And it tells you, for example, this can be safely shortened to accommodate specific needs. By default, it's going to track all of these things, whether it was played, paused, whether there was an error or not. These are some of the examples that you saw when we watched the preview online. If you don't need all this data, you can simply delete some of these items to clean it up or customize it to cater to your needs. Anyhow, I don't really need to do too much editing with the JavaScript. I just wanted to show you where it was and help you familiarize yourselves with it. In this case, there's also CSS, which is for cascading style sheets, and I'm going to open this. Now, if I recall correctly, a lot of the things that I myself, in this case, or you on your own down the road, might want to edit in this ad are here in the style sheet. So right away, I start to notice some things. The logo is here. It's telling me the location and the size of the logo, and it's defining where that image is. So it's in an images folder. Let's see if I can find that. Back in the root, there's the images folder, and there's the logo. So in this case, that's the Sizmek logo. I could easily delete this logo, move the position, change it. Probably what you might do is get rid of the Sizmek logo and swap in your own logo. It would be very easy to do, to drop the file in there and simply put a name here that matches the name of your asset. Additionally, as I scroll down, we can see the buttons that are overlaid. I could change the font color, the background color, even the rollover effect when the mouse hovers over the button. So simple lines of code make it pretty easy to update this. We're going to take a closer look at that in just a moment, but first let's see, what am I going to do with all this information? So we're going to take one step back. We're going to return to the platform. I'm going to go to Shortcuts, Create New Ad, and let's see if I can actually build something out of this. First thing we need to do is name this. We're going to call it Demo VPAID _ Sizmek. Okay, that'll work. And now we need to choose the ad format. So we took a look at this earlier. In this case, we're going for in-stream video. Now, remember, there's going to be a secondary pop-up here that wants to know which video template we're using. For VPAID, we're choosing in-stream video interactive. Now it wants to know the different elements. Here's where it might get a little bit tricky. In the case of VPAID, the linear asset is no longer the video file or the video package. In this case, the linear asset is either your Flash file or your HTML5 workspace. This is because in the VPAID ad, you've got this interactive wrapper that's kind of on top of or surrounding the video. So let's take a look at how this works. I'm going to hit the Add button, and this opens up, again, my creative assets. So if I already have the file on my computer, I could choose it from here, or you could hit the green plus button to upload it yourself. I'm going to go to the root of my creative assets folder. I'm going to scroll down. I'm looking for HTML5 VPAID test. In fact, it's kind of nice if you have a lot of assets, as I do. You can sort this by when it was what the date it was created on. So because I have so many assets in my account, I switched to date created on, and as you can see, the most recent thing I've uploaded are these vast templates for VPAID. Let's go ahead and choose one of these. This looks like the one we just worked on. So this is the zip folder of all of those assets we just looked at. If I select this, it now recognizes the linear asset or creative asset is VPAID test. And let me back up one step and try to help clarify that for you. I may have skipped over a step that would be good to help you understand. Before I uploaded that to the platform, it all needs to be zipped. Okay, so a workspace consists of a zip. In order to have done that, I would select all the files in my folder and send to compressed zip. Now, this by default named itself CSS. I can name this whatever I like, and by default, that's going to be the asset name. Now, this zip file is what's ready to upload to the platform, and that's what we're looking at here as the creative asset. I believe as we scroll down, we're going to want to define the video as an additional asset in this case. So I hit the green plus button, and it's going to let me choose files from my platform, existing accounts, or I could also upload a new file if I haven't done so already. Okay, so I have MP4 here. Let's try to select this, and let's see if that's going to work. Okay, it tells me that the ad was saved successfully. Let's go ahead and preview this and see if I built it properly. All right, so it worked. In spite of all the code that might look a little bit intimidating, this is pretty easy to work with. Some changes that you might be making, again, are customizing these buttons. But as you can see, they're fully functioning as we expect. We've taken the template, downloaded it, and zipped it up into a workspace, re-uploaded it, and created our own VPAID ad. So again, VPAID, similar to VAST, a video ad, in-stream video, but in this case, there's a wrapper around it or on top of it. So this HTML5 includes my logo or whatever graphical content you want to add, and any buttons that you see fit. If we were to want to customize that, I do have an example for the sake of time. I'll show this to you very quickly as we're approaching the end of our hour together. Within the source file, I had also taken this ad and made some changes to it myself to just see how easy it is to update. I'm going to go into the CSS style sheets and open this with Notepad++. Now, what you might notice here, first is this was the original logo, and I've just commented that out, and I've changed this to logo_red. In other words, I colorized my own version of the logo and added that to the images folder, logo red, and I'm simply targeting that new asset instead of the old one. Additionally, to match my nice red logo, I've changed the background color of the buttons from blue to red. Once I save that file and zip this all up, I've now got a workspace that's ready to go to the platform. For the sake of time, I actually created this ad yesterday. We'll skip ahead and I want to show you what that looks like. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, so here is another video, in-stream video interactive. This is a VPAID ad. Let's open it up. And as you can see under Creative, under Linear Elements, this is the package or HTML5 zip, and in this case it's _red, where I've made a few simple changes. I changed the logo, and I also changed the color of the buttons. Let's preview that and see if it worked. Ta-da! Okay, so it really only took me probably 5 or 10 minutes to scroll through the code and find out what changes I wanted to make. I've added my own logo, or more realistically, I've colorized the logo, but I've customized this ad. So it's now got a red look to it instead of a blue look. The idea is you and your team and colleagues are the creative geniuses. I hope this is going to enable you to take these templates, build from the working sample files, and implement your own creative and design on top of it. I'm sure quickly and easily with a little bit of trial, you'll be successful with working with these. And I hope you will find the Sizmek tools, the Video Studio, and the VAST and VPAID format a little less mysterious, maybe a little less intimidating now. We look forward to working with you on this. So after this email, there's going to be a follow-up sent to all attendees with additional details. I'd also like to remind you all that we have other webinars coming up. There's a link on GoSizmek.com that should come out in the follow-up emails. All of these webinars, including the one we did today, are being recorded. So in the future, if you want to revisit this, it'll show up right here under past webinars. And here's also upcoming webinars. I encourage you to please join us in the future. We're going to be doing more of these over the coming weeks and months. And we really appreciate your time. I want to thank all of you for joining today. I hope you found it informative. Don't hesitate to reach out to your Sizmek sales rep or client services representative if you have questions. And happy ad building. This concludes our session. I hope we'll get to see you again on October 13th, where we're going to cover DCO, or Dynamic Creative Optimization, with Smart Versioning. Thanks again, everybody. I hope you have a great afternoon.